This episode of My Two Satoshis is brought to you by Zank. Zank is not like any current stable coin available on the marketplace. With Zank, the coin is pegged or stable when in transit between one wallet and another. Additionally, at any point you can unpeg the stable nature of Zank and hold as a speculative investment. Visit xank.io to learn more details about this revolutionary free-floating cryptocurrency. Yes, your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today I have my main man Silvertooth. He hit me up last night, said he wanted to come on and talk about this Veritaseum situation. It's very bad, no pun intended, but it's definitely something that we should talk about and get his side of the story on it, and what does he feel is going on with this whole situation. Silvertooth, what's good, brother?
How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Excellent. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on. Like I said, you hit me up last night. I'm like, sure, man. Come on anytime. We can chat, get up to speed on things, and talk about this whole Veritaseum situation. Talk about how, the SEC is starting to really clamp down on all of these ICO projects. And then talk about like this whole cliff thing and what does this mean? What are the implications as far as all these projections and forecasts that were coming out of the Bare Naked report? What does this all mean? I'll let you just kind of take the stage, man, and we'll go from there. What are your thoughts, though? From initially seeing it last night to today.
Well, I want to say for the last year, probably, I've been in Veri, in and out, because it is so volatile. It can go from 11 up to 22, back down to 15, then 19, then 11, then 22. So while Bitcoin was sitting there doing nothing, I could get in low and get out high. So it's been my go-to as a small volatility coin. And I was just lucky and blessed to get out of it at like 17, 18 bucks before it flopped. When I saw the news, I was shocked completely.
So what do you think, man? I mean, I went through a little bit of the filing. There are some things in there that are damning for sure, but at the same time, it's like, well, why go after Reggie Middleton? You know what I mean? Like the little guy, the little fish. I'm not really sold on the narrative of they're threatened by him per se. I just think they're just going after any and every ICO. I mean, they can create their own platforms. It's not like he had a lot of traction here in the States. What are your thoughts? Do you think they were going after him for what reason?
I don't know. I'm not going to say that they were like plotting against him because he had the end all crypto or anything. I liked Veri up until the point where they kind of switched over to the gold stuff.
Yeah, same here.
I never traded any of that. I never did any of that. I was just in the Veri because, I saw what it could do. It's like a blank page, and you can go on there and you can write your contracts and you can trade. And I could put like a $5 million painting up, and we can peer-to-peer through crypto. And that's what I saw it as a project. Not only that, just like Proppy, you can sell your house and do the contracts through deeds in there. We're all in the system. So I liked what it had to do, but then he kind of side shifted into the very gold stuff, and people were just trying to stack on that, and I never got any of that.
Yeah, that's when I really was like, I can't. I mean, I'd already been kind of turned off by. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand the initial concept fully. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. And then I started thinking about all these different, companies that the SEC started to go after. Centra. Then there were like 2 or 3, maybe 6 or 7 months later after Centra's situation. And I'm like, you know what? It's just a matter of time before they come after Reggie. Doesn't matter what patent or exemption he had in 2014. These agencies will move the goalposts. and change the narrative, change the rules right in front of your face. You see what Steve Mnuchin is saying, and it's definitely happening. We see it right before our eyes.
Well, they got any country that comes up and tries to do a gold standard, we either shut down or go to war with. So any crypto that comes up with a gold backing or anything that's not our government related, I try to stay far away from. Like I said, if it wasn't for the volatility, I wouldn't have been in it to begin with. But it's a nice one I can get in and out of on like Fork Delta real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they just there's going to be some changes. I think there's going to be, and this is like 2 years in the making, you know.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone over the details, but this isn't really a case of the Huey test, right? It's not. It's a case of what he's doing internally with the money.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw Bix Weird's video, and he was spinning it like it was a Huey test. Is it an ICO security? No, that's really not even what this is all about. This is about fraud, alleged fraud. Let me just say that, alleged fraud, that the SEC feels was going on behind the scenes. This has nothing to do with how we test. Was it a security or not a security? More so about funds, misappropriation of funds, what he was doing with them after the ICO, so on and so forth. So that changes the story here. Like, what do you like? How do you feel about that?
Well, they got any ICO, any project out there, you're going to have, excluding like Bitcoin, where there's no CEO, you're going to be under the needle. They're going to track you. They're going to trace you. They're going to monitor you. And if you move any funds, more so than the public knowing, the SEC is going to watch that, and they're going to attack. So there's no sense of security if you're owning a crypto or if you started a crypto. So you're basically at the whim of what the CEO does, just like the last one, Centricard, you know.
Right. And you know, with Centra, man, that really opened my eyes, because I'm like, they said that they were fraudulent as well, and I know for a fact that they weren't, because
you were using the card, weren't you?
Using the card and and their platform and their wallet, mobile wallet, desktop wallet, all that stuff. They had a support staff. They had like technical support. It was like they were trying. Now, what they did prior to, you know, embellishing some of the stories about who the CEO was and all that. Oh, yeah, maybe that was a fake it till you make it type of situation, right? But as far as them actually frauding people or not doing what they said they were going to do, they did. So, you know, I step to these situations and these headlines and these, you know, SEC suits with a little caution, because I know that it could be the very opposite. It could be that he's not frauding, and they're just trying to, you know, paint a certain narrative.
Well, we saw them flat out lie on the last one, you know, when they were slandering Centra before he even got into court. And they were saying stuff about him that we, in the crypto space, knew wasn't true, and they were bringing up the fact of his DUI like a year or two before, and they were just trying to do a smear test, and they just basically wiped him out before he got to court. Maybe Reggie's a smart enough man. He's like, I'm going to stand my ground, and we're going to go to town here, and we're going to fight it out through lawyers. But
how do you feel about that?
Isn't it going to take years?
It is.
And by that time, the crypto space has moved so much that, you know, you're going to come back in the game at number 2079 and try to fight your way back up there, man.
No, the token is, in my opinion, done. It's just going to go, like you said, it's going to take years of litigation, frozen assets. People that were locked in the whole Veri gold, precious metal thing, they're not going to get their money back for a while. And it's just like, it's just not a good look. And you know, I don't know if him trying to go up against the SEC is any benefit to him, though.
What's he got to lose, though?
I don't know, man.
I
What
mean,
is he?
a lot of money, but they're going to take that from him anyway, right? So
Yeah, they're going to take that from him anyway.
might as well stand up and throw some punches, I say.
I guess you're right. One thing that I was looking through the actual filing here, and it looks like he was somewhere in the filing. It talked about him allocating 50,000 tokens, Veri tokens, to influencers.
Is that illegal?
I'm not sure.
Because a lot of people, everyone has bounty programs. Everyone does stuff for hackers, and they allocate it. I mean, perhaps it has to be written in the white paper, disclosed up first to the public or whatever. But he has tokens,
or maybe it has to be disclosed, by the influencer. I don't know what they're. I'm trying to find it now regarding this. Yeah, man. So, in this filing here, if I scroll down toward the bottom, not in the actual PDF, it's actually attached copy at the bottom of the PDF. It talks about him promising to pay individuals up to 50,000 Veri tokens, which he stated was the equivalent of 100,000 to website users for making blog posts, tweets, or Facebook posts touting Veri. They have a detailed rundown of everything this guy has done, man. It's just crazy. And even talks about him taking $2 million or moving it from non-Veritaseum addresses to other addresses. And we don't know what happened with those funds, but they've got him on a lot, man. I'm just very, like you said, I guess, why not go ahead and just try to fight it? You have nothing to lose. But it's going to be a hard battle. And, this kind of makes me think that possibly the subpoena from New York State on Cliff High has something to do with this as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't, because he didn't. I'm sorry. He didn't say anything about that. I thought he was going into a case to testify for someone else. So I don't know what that's about or anything. And as far as I know, he didn't disclose that to the public, so I can't.
No, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. I was just wondering if you thought that there was any correlation with what's going on, because it was in New York. It could have been either Centra or Veritaseum.
I don't want to be engaged in speculation with intent to defame or defraud. So, but I don't think that it was related to that. I don't know. But if it was, it'll definitely come out in court. You know what I mean? And if those were illegal transactions, the 50,000 Veri tokens, that will probably, especially if it goes to court, that'll come to light. And you'll see who got paid to play. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. That's going to be interesting if it was the case. But I don't know, man. I'm just very uncertain about. I think the token's done. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about more so about Reggie Middleton. I've been following him before cryptos. Max Kaiser Report days, man. Him being on CNBC, like, well before that. And I just, I hate to see his name being tarnished like this. If he's not guilty, you know what I mean? If he's guilty of these things, then so be it. But it's just pretty unfortunate.
Well, I said last night it hit a low of $3.77, did a dead cat bounce up to $8.22, and now it's at $6.78. It's down 60%. It's the 24-hour biggest loser right now. I said even if it goes down to a penny, I don't think I'm going to speculate and buy into it, because once the SEC gets their hooks into you, you're basically guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Unfortunately, yes.
That's a hard road.
Yes, and people, I was telling someone last night, they were talking about buying at $5 or start to load in at $5. Like, you have to realize, man, you can lose 95% of your money from $5. It can go to 5 cents.
It can go to less than a penny.
It can go to less than a penny. We're in crypto, so it can go less than many decimals less than a penny. So don't think that you're just gonna, we're feeding the bottom here. This is, as you stated, Silvertooth, this is going to be a long, drawn out process. It may take years, and in that interim, it's nothing going to be happening with Veritaseum. So you have to think about that, people. You have to think about that. You're going to be parking your money in cement, basically.
Well, if it goes down to a penny, I may buy $1 worth, 100 of them, and just throw it away. But that's about it. They did the same thing when BitConnect went down. They were trying to buy that falling knife too. That didn't work out very well for them. So.
Yeah. Man, so what does this mean though, man? For all the people that were really putting so much credit on previous reports that Cliff High put out, and a lot of the reason why people were holding or hodling these tokens like PPT, Veri, Pillar, Salt. I mean, I don't think he talked about Salt. That was more so Bix Weird, but
that was Bix.
Yeah, that was big. So what are your thoughts now seeing something like this happen when, in the reports it talked about it Veri being par with Bitcoin? That's not, it's not going to happen.
This correlates with Populous. Populous was doing something with them, wasn't Populous doing something with Veritaseum?
No, they talked on Twitter. And I don't think anything was solidified.
But I'm out of Populous. I've got like 8 Populous. I'm selling those off today too. I'm getting rid of them.
Man, Populous is gonna listen, and I've said this before. People they get on me. You know how hard they get on me. Silvertooth, but I got to keep it real, man. With the FCA, I believe is the agency over there in the UK, they're starting to really get together and build the framework as far as how they want to regulate these cryptocurrency companies or ICOs over there in the UK. And I personally think it's going to be the same fate with Populous, and not only Populous, many ICOs and crypto startups in the UK. So it's not just Populous, but all of them. I think it's a war on crypto, and they're really going to start, hankering down on this whole situation. And what are your thoughts about that?
When Libra came out, remember?
Yep.
See, the monetary U.S. value is right here of dollars, and they've got to protect that at all costs. Okay.
Exactly.
And then Libra came out, and the crypto space was right here. Libra was gonna jump the crypto space.
Yep, it was.
That's why they got an instant shutdown. They're like, no, you can't reach 5 billion people. We're not going to allow it. So that tells you their intentions of what they're doing with crypto. They're going to let you play with it, but if it gets big, they're going to try to put the smack down as much as possible, which kind of makes me scared. I want to use this analogy, man, because this is like the United States as a business. Like the Trump would be the CEO of the business, right? The head of it. And we would be the employees. And we're all trying to sit around the water cooler and rally and be like, hey, you know what? A country over there, a company over there, they pay different. They don't pay in cash, they pay in crypto. And I think we should be paying crypto. So we're fighting against the country or the company to get that. And then the head of it's like, well, you guys can talk around the water cooler all you want, but when it comes down to it, if it changes me and my business and my power, I don't know if I want to give that out, and nor will I, because you guys don't own the company. You're my servants, basically, So because Trump said in there that he didn't like crypto, and everyone's like, oh, it's positive for crypto. It's great for crypto.
Man, people are crazy, man. They have so much cognitive dissonance. It's insane, man. No, he does not like crypto. He is not a good guy in the sense of what the narrative is being painted. I don't think he's one of the guys that the politician world, right? That's why they don't like him so much. He's not really part of the Democrats. People forget that he ran independent the first time he went around. So he's really not he's running as a Republican president, but he's really just a businessman, he's not a politician. So neither side really likes him like that. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily a good guy. He's a guy for out for his own gain. Okay.
If he loses the dollar, he loses power. Period.
Absolutely. As with all of us, if the dollar loses its reserve status, I hear people online always talking about the dollar's going to collapse. It's over. They don't understand what that means for themselves. Their quality of life, our quality of life in the United States will deteriorate very quickly, and it will not be a good thing. You know, it will not be a good thing. So yeah, you know, Trump saying that he didn't like cryptos was not a shock to me at all. He likes cheap money. Cheap money means stealing wealth from the masses for the, you know, for the very few, the 1%, to you know, take advantage of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not with that whole narrative that he's really for cryptos. He's just saying that just to be covert about it and all that, man. I hear so much nonsense on the internet.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff that Trump says later on comes to fruition. So, you know, it makes me wonder how long we're going to be in the game, how big they're going to set it up, or how many people they're going to wreck, meaning the SEC. Now, when they came out and talked about this, that guy from the printing press or whatever, did you know that he was CEO of Sears and Kmart before that?
No.
And both those companies ran into the ground. The guy that came on and talked about the Federal Reserve and money, the guy with glasses that was talking about Bitcoin, that was second, the one after Trump that came out and talked. And I was like, it just basically, you know, the head man of the company, Trump, said, "Hey, we're not going to do this." And then the payroll department came out and said, "Hey, you guys better get back to work." You know what I mean? We're not going to do this. So, you know, you can talk around the water coolers all you want. So it makes you wonder what's going to go on in the crypto space in the future, how big they're going to let it get before they shut it down, how many people are going to get wrecked, because they'd have to go underground at that point completely.
And here's the thing, and very true. And I always caution people. They could reverse their position on cryptos or Bitcoin in particular and come after it similarly to how they did with Libra, though they won't have the same effect. It will crush the price of Bitcoin big time. 70, 80%, 90% crash from here, but it won't stop it. That's the difference, in my opinion, about Bitcoin being truly more decentralized in nature. They can't really stop it. They can do things to hurt it and scare people out of it, but you can't stop it. So that's something that people have to pay attention to and really start doing their research on, you know, what coins. And you know, someone even made a mention about EOS. They could do the same thing with EOS. They could come at Block One, though Block One is, you know, they're not even organized here in the States. I think they're in Malta or somewhere like that. But they can't necessarily stop it. It's an operating system. It's run on thousands of nodes, BPs all around the world. So you can't stop it. You can hurt it, though. You surely can hurt it. So people need to really be cautious. And the money they have in this crypto game, you got to understand it. You know, it should be discretionary cash. Don't put, you know, mortgage your house and try to put it all into this thing, because it's still in its infancy and we got a long way to go.
I want to relate this to pot, marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 50s, it was basically legal, you know what I mean? Before they found out about it, did underground research testing of it, which was proven. And then it became illegal, which drove up the price. Now that drove up the price due to the fact that you had use case for it. You know what I mean? People wanted the drug. But how much is crypto going to have use case for? Because you can no longer buy houses, trips, cars. You can't go anywhere. Businesses aren't going to want to touch it.
Yep.
So you're just going to peer-to-peer transact Bitcoin with people and in hopes that it'll come back and be legal in the future. Now, with the case with pot, like pot became legal in like Colorado, and then 2 years later or 4 years later, I'm hearing of them coming in California, which was like the first state to do it, and arrest a stage 4 cancer patient that was in his bed attached to an IV, and they had to wheel him out on the cart. So they were an example of you, no matter what, when you mess with the federal government. They will go to town on you. just to prove a point. They don't care if you're dying, you're sick, anything like that, So if they go to the point of illegal, they're going to go to the point of making more money to put into the system, to put a corrupt agency, alphabet soup agency, to come after the crypto hoarders, the people that are trading under the table, and it'll become a drug-like state if it goes to that.
Yeah, and that will definitely affect the price big time. It will relegate it to, again, once where it was birthed out of, the black market, and that's where it will go back to for a while. As you stated, it may take some time and then finally come back, like marijuana is doing now. So, and alcohol too, right? We can't forget the prohibition with that. So, yeah, man, we'll have to see what happens.
That was all about taxes and control prohibition. They didn't care. Well, it was about them wanting you to drink beer instead of alcohol, hard liquor. But they wanted the taxes for it. But they often create these alphabet soup agencies and create a narrative that something is bad and we have to go after it, so that they can get funding and money in there, and pump that up. And then the more that they catch, the more they say, see, this is a problem. And if they try to catch people using cryptos for drugs or anything, which they've done, they're going to pump more money into that alphabet soup. Just like people say, well, I'm going to go blow up a cop car. Well, dude, if you do that, then they're going to buy 3 new ones, because that's how they roll. They print the money, they own the stuff, and you're just feeding the fire when you do that, So I don't know where it's going in the future. I have money in crypto, definitely. I'm all for crypto and for the future, but I don't take them at their word that they want cryptos to succeed at all. It goes against the dollar, it goes against what they stand for, and it goes against control for them.
Yeah, it surely does. And in order to see true change, Silvertooth, it's gotta hurt. You gotta draw blood. So we gotta go through that phase, and we haven't gone through that yet. We haven't seen governments, or at least the United States, really go at cryptos like that. It seems like it's starting to happen, but we have to go through that pain first to really see a change, and people have to stand up for what they think is right. We can't have a whole bunch of people just being scared away and just leaving the space. That doesn't help anything.
The best part about this, and the savior of this all, is that this is decentralized throughout the whole world.
Yeah.
So as we sit here, if we try to fight it, if the United States goes crypto negative, and then everyone else is like success, you know what I mean? We'll have no choice but to get on board. We'll have condemnation in the meantime, but eventually we'll have to get on board. So if one country hits it, or another country hits it, or it gets banned in a few places, or gets publicly promoted in other places, eventually they're going to go where the money flow is, just like alcohol, where they realized that it was a lot better to make alcohol legal and then charge big taxes on it. So that's what they did. Instead of people making bathtub gin at home, they said, well, we'll make it legal and you can come in and buy it. We just want our cut. So
yeah, we'll have to see, man, what happens. I'm just looking at this case here, man, and it's just crazy, man. Like they're talking about him boasting about Veri's price. So they say he was manipulating the price in certain instances. They've got detailed instances of this, and something about him lying about a $50 million deal overseas or something, man. So they've got a lot. It's over, I think, I don't know how many pages this is here, man. It's a lot of material. I think it's like 30, 40 pages. 29 pages. So you guys check it out if you haven't.
Did they tell you what he ate for dinner last night too?
Right. I'm telling you, man. Like, how do they know all? Like, I wonder how long they've been monitoring this whole situation. It has to have been for a while, because it's just point after point after point. It's crazy. But I'm interested to see, if anything, what comes out of this whole influencer situation, and who he paid to, promote this. I don't think there's anything wrong with paying for basically marketing, but it'll be interesting if it's there are people that were paid that didn't reveal that they were paid. You know, we'll have to see what happens. Any last words though, Silvertooth?
Watch your cryptos. Get into cryptos. I'm not bashing cryptos at all, man. Get them. Don't put your whole life savings into them. Hope for the best. Fight for change, and know that maybe it's they're not doing what you want, and then they're gonna slam you. So it's bad out there because you got to jump through their hoops to make it work, and off of a created agency. So I'm not a fan of the SEC. So
yeah, I hear you on that, man. And one other thing I want to just point out of this article from Coin Rivet, you got like Richard Hart talking about the whole case. Like, has Richard Hart ever talked about Veritaseum before now? Why bring it up now? It's just like don't talk about something now if you never talked about it. I don't like that type of stuff. But
I watched him, and when Bitcoin was at 6,000, he told everyone to get out because it was going lower, and then when it pumped to 14K, he's like, "Oops, my bad." So he definitely doesn't know it all.
No one does, buddy. No one does. Well, all right, Silvertooth, man, thanks for coming on for this quick kicking it session with me today. Hope you guys enjoy it. We're in the comments right now chatting with you guys. I hope you enjoyed that as well as we premiere this. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and that's another kicking it session. My man Silvertooth out there in Chi-Town. We out of here, people. How?